Oh, hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today, we're re-diving into a really complex and significant topic: the possibility of holding elections in Ukraine amidst the ongoing war. It's a situation that brings up huge questions about democracy, security, and international support. Let's break down what's happening. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has been clear from the start. Under martial law, holding elections isn't legally possible. This is a standard provision in many countries during wartime to maintain stability and focus on national defense. The challenges are immense. How do you ensure the safety of voters when air raid sirens could go off at any moment? How do you set up polling stations in areas near the front lines? These are just the logistical hurdles. Then there's the human side of it. Millions of Ukrainians have been displaced, either within the country or as refugees abroad. How can they participate in a national election? Their forces are crucial to the country's future. And what about the soldiers, the men and women actively defending their homeland? There are over 1 million of them. Setting up a voting process for them across the vast front lines is a logistical nightmare. It's not just about giving them a ballot. It's about ensuring their right to vote is meaningful and secure. President Zelenskyy has stated that elections are a fundamental part of a democratic society, and he's not opposed to them in principle. He's even thrown out a potential timeline, suggesting that if the necessary conditions are met, elections could happen within 3 months. And this is a big but, he's emphasized that Ukraine cannot do this alone. So, what are these conditions? First and foremost, security. This is where Ukraine's allies come in. Zelenskyy has proposed that Western partners could help provide the necessary air defense systems to protect polling stations and civilian areas during the election period. Imagine a protective umbrella over the country, allowing people to cast their votes without fearing for their lives. This is a monumental request and would require a significant commitment from allied nations. Second, the financial cost. Running a normal election is expensive. Running one during a war is astronomically so. President Zelenskyy has estimated the cost to be around 5 billion hryvnias, which is roughly $135 million in peacetime. In wartime, that figure would be much higher. He made it clear that Ukraine won't divert funds from its defense. Budget money needed for weapons and soldiers' salaries to pay for an election. So, he's looking to the international community, particularly the United States and Europe, to help fund this democratic process. Third, inclusivity. This goes back to the millions of displaced Ukrainians and soldiers. For the election to be considered legitimate, everyone must have the opportunity to vote. This would require an incredible international effort to set up polling stations in countries hosting Ukrainian refugees. It also means creating a secure and accessible system for soldiers on the front lines. Furthermore, international observers would need to be present everywhere, including on the front lines, to verify the fairness and transparency of the vote. This is unprecedented. The idea has sparked a lot of debate, both within Ukraine and internationally. Some argue that holding an election now would be a powerful symbol of Ukraine's unwavering commitment to democracy, even in the darkest of times. It would counter the narrative that the country is sliding into authoritarianism under the pressures of war. It would also give President Zelenskyy a renewed mandate, or, alternatively, allow for a democratic transition of power. However, many others are skeptical. They argue that a wartime election could be divisive, creating political infighting at a time when national unity is paramount. There's also the risk that the results could be contested, leading to instability. Opponents believe that the focus should remain solely on winning the war, and that discussions about elections should wait until peace is achieved. They feel it's an unnecessary distraction and a logistical impossibility. This whole situation puts Ukraine's allies in a tricky position. They champion democracy and have been pushing for Ukraine to uphold its democratic processes. but they also understand the immense security and financial challenges involved. Committing to securing and funding a wartime election is a huge undertaking. Ultimately, whether or not elections happen will depend on a delicate balance of political will, security guarantees, and financial support. It's a testament to the difficult choices Ukraine is facing. They are fighting a war for their survival, while also trying to preserve the very democratic values they are fighting for. What do you all think? Is it possible to hold a free and fair election in the middle of a war? Is it a necessary display of democratic strength or a dangerous distraction? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It's a fascinating and important discussion. Thanks for watching, and if you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into global events. See you next time.